Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Collins Mdenda, your host in GBS 550 management for GBS 550 MBA General and MBA Finance. This 26th of May 2020, I want us to do the third video in the series, and this is still on leadership. And today I'm going to focus on contemporary issues in leadership, meaning what's coming new, what is the latest in the field of leadership world over. So to start with, maybe we look at the leader member exchange theory. It's quite contemporary. It's been there in the field of management for some time, but it's quite contemporary as for now, because in this theory, what the different authors, different writers are telling us or advising us, that as a leader, you normally begin to have the ins and the outs in your organization. So you create groups, and these will be two groups in which there will be the ins. These are people, group members that you consider to be part of you, to be your empire, to be people that support you. And we have the outs. These are part of your colleagues that you don't seem to support you, and you don't consider them any much. And so you as a leader, you ought to be very careful with who's coming in and who's going out, because you are likely to lose good members or people that are going to be very, very hardworking, very productive workers, because they are just not part of your ins, they are on the outside. And this is what in human resource comes out to basically be the Horns effect and the halo effect, in the sense that the in group members are the ones that under the halo effect, basically because you share a number of things together. You go to the same church, or you like to wear the similar clothes, or you meet in certain boutiques, you meet at certain malls, you stay in the same location and stuff like that. So you end up having this group, and the outs is because they come from far away, they come not where you come from, you don't share anything in common. As a result, they are part of the outsiders, and that is dangerous for you. So as a leader, it's nice to be careful how you create the ins and outs using the leader member exchange theory, because it can affect your productivity as a team. Now, the other thing is the transactional versus transformation leader. Now, here I think on this one we've got some notes in our module, but here what's key is that as a leader, it's always important to determine which one of the methods of leadership you're going to use, whether to transact or to transform. To transact means that you ask for a worker to work for you, to do something for you, and in return you give them something. You pay them their allowances, their wages, or whatever it is, or you give them a bonus, or whatever you have to give them. So you're basically exchanging their productivity, their time, with what you are giving them. That is the transaction. Transformational, on the other side, is quite critical, because it means that you are transforming people to be what you are, to think like you, to do things like you. And you see, probably yesterday, having been Africa Freedom Day, maybe we can see that the youths of the time of independence struggle in Zambia and in other African countries could have been transformed, so that they see themselves as people that are going to deliver a sovereign state and rule themselves. And we saw remarkable changes in African countries, in which most of them actually attained independence. And so transformational leadership is extremely key, because it changes the way people think. Even when you are long gone, people will still be able to do what they believe in, what they used to do with you, because they believe in that thing more than anything else. So it's quite key, because it means that change is going to be there. We also have the charismatic leaders, and here we have a number of examples. We have even from our country, Zambia, that Kenneth Kaunda was one of them, lined up as a charismatic leader, because these are leaders whose personality and actions influence you to behave in a certain way, right? They'll tell you something that makes you behave the way they want you to behave. Well, sometimes they may not want you to behave that way, but just what they will say make you behave in that way. And we've seen this is very common with many politicians. Now, if you in the corporate world can be able to do such a thing, it's very good, because that way it means you're going to attract so many people, and you're going to change the way things happen in your work setup. Well, now let's look at what could be very latest, what could be very new in terms of contemporary issues in leadership. There are three major ones. One is the authentic leader. Two is the ethical leader. Three is the team leader. Now, the authentic leader is the one whose behavior is based on morals. So these are leaders who are morally upright. They're the ones that are on the authentic side. Because whatever they do, they look at whether this is right or wrong, and they normally choose the right because that is what counts and that's what matters the most. And so you as a leader, you are being challenged and encouraged to make sure that you make decisions morally. You must be morally upright all the time, such that certain things on certain times you have to resign on moral grounds. When you can't agree with certain things because they're wrong, leave. That is what morality is. Now, ethical, authentic leadership is maybe missing in Africa. Because most of our leaders basically have not been authentic. They have not used morality to lead, and they have not used morality to make decisions, and that is very discouraging. And so it must start with you, that you must begin to be morally upright and use morals that are right to make decisions and lead. And where they are not using good morals, you must resign on moral grounds. That's the meaning of this leadership style. Well, ethics means that you do things ethically all the time. Follow the production process or method that is actually accurate, that is right, that is according to your procedures and regulations and systems, and everything that you follow to do things, follow them, because it means you're being ethical. You see, we have an example here in which Zambia at one point was accused of embalming some of their products, and that turned out to be very true. Now that means that there was unethical behavior by some of the managers in that company, and see, that brings a lot of speculation and suspicion in the eyes of your customers, because they begin to wonder whether even the milk they buy is actually milk. They begin to wonder whatever you do, whether what you do is actually correct or not. And so it's very critical that you follow the ethics in terms of doing things in your organization. So make sure if you're making bread, let it be bread. All right. If you're making a fruit juice, make it be a fruit juice. Otherwise, we have seen that a number of companies advertise non-fruit juices as fruit juice. That is very unethical, because it means you are basically selling with the you are basically employing your customers to believe that the drink they're buying is actually a fruit, when in fact not. That's very dangerous, and so you got to be careful how some of these things are done. Well, we have the last one, but very important and critical, because today most companies are doing things in project ways, in project formats, and so you find team leadership is coming out to be the prominent leadership style that most organizations want you to be. And you see nowadays, when you're being employed, when you're looking for people, they want somebody that is a team player, because they want you to become a manager that is going to be a team player. So it's critical that a team player is one that has the 4 issues around that party, and that is, you must be a person that can coach those who are failing, those who are not doing well in their work. Be able to coach them, be ready to coach them. And that is why you as a manager, you better know what is being managed. You better be the best party, the best worker, the best that there is in that field, so that those who may not know the job very well, you be the one to provide coaching. You again, you are a liaison officer, in the sense that you are the one to put all the issues in order. You are the connecting party. You are the coordinator of all things that are happening in that location where you are as a manager, and so that is very prominent. You are also a conflict manager. So as a team player, you want the team to be together, to be really solid, and be in one vision and move in one direction. So for you to be a good manager who's going to put things together in that way, you must be a conflict manager. So there will be functional and dysfunctional conflicts. Functional conflict is conflict that makes members to work very well, to work very hard, to perform, to produce. That's functional conflict. Well, dysfunctional conflict lead into fights, into quarrels, and there will be always some issues coming that would require disciplinary action. You don't want that type of conflict. So you want to have functional conflict that results into perfect performance, and that way you are going to be a manager. Well, the other role that you are as a team player or say a team leader is to be a troubleshooter. So where workers are failing to do the job right, where things are not going well, you must be able to troubleshoot and find out why things are not going the way they must go and solve them. That is what you are as a team player. So these are critical contemporary issues that are coming to us as leaders, and we must think about them critically and see how we can apply some of these things that we have learned or things that we keep sharing so that they work to our benefit. You see, there's one thing to know about some of these things, and it's another thing to do some of these things that we talk about. So you can find more of such works from the book Management, which is the 14th edition. This is written or was written by Stephen P. Robbins and Mary Cotter. This is the 2018 edition. This should be the latest edition of such books. So you can find more information from such a copy. You can find more information from papers, latest papers. Look at 2018 and 2019 papers. You are going to be saved right. Thank you very much for being part of this class. We'll see you another time.